Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive. Today we're tackling a word that I think you'll find pretty fascinating. Panacea.
Yeah, it's a word that really gets to the heart of some pretty big human desires.
Absolutely. And we've got a great mix of sources to help us unpack it all. Merriam-Webster, Wikipedia, even a YouTube video.
We'll be exploring how panacea is used in different contexts, like medicine and even politics, and how it reflects our tendency to seek out simple solutions for complex problems.
Okay, so before we get ahead of ourselves, let's start with the basics. What exactly is a panacea?
Well, it's essentially a cure-all, a remedy for anything and everything.
Yeah, it sounds kind of like a magic potion or something, right?
You know, you're not far off. The word panacea actually comes from Greek mythology. Panacea was the daughter of Asclepius, the god of medicine, and she was said to have a potion that could cure any ailment.
Wow, so the word is literally named after a goddess of healing.
Exactly. And it's interesting because the word wasn't just limited to mythology. It was also used as the Latin name for various plants that people believed had healing properties.
Oh, so like ancient herbal remedies.
Pretty much. It seems like the concept of a panacea has been intertwined with medicine and botany for centuries.
Okay, so we've got this word with a rich history and ties to healing and solutions. But how do we actually use panacea in everyday conversations?
Well, imagine you're talking about a complicated problem, like let's say climate change, and someone suggests a solution that they claim is a panacea for the entire issue.
Ah, so you're saying it's often used when someone's oversimplifying things.
Exactly. Using the word panacea can be a way of expressing skepticism about a proposed solution.
So it's like a red flag, a way of saying, hold on, this might be too good to be true.
Precisely, because in reality, most complex problems don't have simple one-size-fits-all solutions.
Right.
Right.
But even though we know that truer panaceas are rare, doesn't the word itself reveal something about us?
Oh, absolutely. It speaks to our very human desire to find easy answers and quick fixes. It's a reflection of our hope for a better future, even if that hope is sometimes misplaced.
Yeah, it's like we're hardwired to seek those silver bullet solutions.
Exactly. And while the search for a true panacea might be a bit of a fool's errand, it's fascinating to explore what this word tells us about ourselves and how we approach the challenges we face.
I'm already starting to see how this deep dive into panacea is going to be a lot more than just defining a word. It's about understanding our own hopes, our limitations, and our enduring search for solutions.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's about recognizing that while a true panacea might not exist, the word itself offers a powerful lens through which to view the world and our place in it. And, it's not just about medicine or climate change. This whole idea of a panacea pops up in all sorts of areas.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like we're constantly looking for those quick fixes, no matter what the problem is.
Right, exactly. And the way we use the word panacea often reflects that, Like when we're talking about politics or economics.
Yeah, like the examples from the Cambridge Dictionary, right? I remember one about free trade being touted as the panacea for a whole bunch of problems.
Yeah, that's a good one. It shows how the word is often used to highlight solutions that are probably oversimplified, like they're promising a little too much.
It's like that little voice in your head saying, are you sure about that?
Exactly. Like a reminder to think critically and not just buy into the hype.
Okay, so we're pretty skeptical of panaceas these days, but it wasn't always like that, right?
Oh, definitely not. I mean, think about all those patent medicines from the 18th and 19th centuries. They were marketed as panaceas for practically every ailment imaginable.
Oh, yeah, those were something else. Daffy's elixir, Benjamin Brandrett's vegetable universal pills. Some of those claims were just wild.
It's kind of funny looking back on it now, but it shows just how strong that desire for a cure-all can be, especially when people are desperate or scared.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. When you're facing a problem you really want to solve, it's tempting to grab onto any solution that sounds promising.
For sure. And those old patent medicines, they were actually pretty sophisticated in terms of marketing, even back then. They used testimonials and all this pseudoscientific language to make their products seem believable.
Wow, so it's like the same tactics that are still used today, just with different products. Weight loss gimmicks, get-rich-quick schemes, all promising that quick fix.
Yep, that's it, exactly. And even though those old patent medicines might seem like ancient history, I think there's a lesson there for us today. To be cautious, to ask questions, and not fall for easy answers.
So basically, even though we might long for a panacea, we need to be aware of its limitations. and maybe even embrace the complexity of finding real solutions.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. It's not about giving up on finding solutions, but it's about recognizing that real progress often takes time, effort, and a willingness to learn and adapt along the way.
So it sounds like this deep dive into Panacea is teaching us that maybe the real value isn't in finding a magic cure-all. It's about understanding the power of language to reveal our hopes, our limitations, and how we approach the world around us.
Absolutely. And you know, what's really fascinating is how this one word can spark so many different conversations and connections. We've talked about mythology, medicine, history, even marketing.
That's like this one word, Panacea, is a gateway to all these different facets of human experience.
And it makes you think, you know, where else do we see this whole panacea thing playing out?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's not just limited to medicine, right?
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
Like, think about technology for a second. How often do we hear about some new innovation that's supposed to be the panacea for all our problems?
Oh, all the time. Like
Yeah.
AI is going to solve everything.
Right, or blockchain.
Right. And those things do have a ton of potential. But it's easy to get caught up in the hype and start thinking that there's a technological quick fix for every problem. So we need to be careful about assuming that any one technology is going to magically solve everything.
Exactly. We need to be realistic about what technology can and can't do. And remember that real solutions often involve a lot more than just, you know, flipping a switch.
It seems like a lot of this comes back to recognizing the complexity of the world and understanding that simple answers are rarely the best ones.
Absolutely. You know, it's interesting, this whole idea of a deep dive that we do on this show, it's kind of the opposite of looking for a panacea.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's about embracing the complexity and digging deeper into the nuances of a topic.
Exactly. And maybe that's a good lesson to take away from this whole conversation. You know, instead of always searching for the quick fix, maybe we should focus on embracing the process of learning and understanding, even if it means getting a little messy sometimes.
I like that. So maybe the real takeaway here isn't about finding a magic solution, but about embracing the journey of exploring and learning.
Well said. And hey, here's a thought for you, our listeners, to chew on. What are some panaceas that you encounter in your own lives? You know, those things that promise easy answers. And how can what we've talked about today help you look at those things with a more critical eye?
That's something for everyone to think about. And until next time, keep diving deep.